phase in. Just how's it been so far?
It's been great. The competition levels have been amazing, honestly. I told today, like today was very physical. It was a high competition level. I loved it.
What are your early impressions of Coach Searles? What you got to?
Oh, absolutely love him. Very technical guy. Really smart football wise. Understands schemes. A little bit different terminology because he's coming from a different school, but football is football.
Just curious, Sedrick, whenever Coach Searles got a job, and then when you first heard about it, did you like go do research on him or stuff like that? How did that, or you just kind of wait to introduce himself to you?
A little. I watched a few YouTube interviews. I watched a few just to get a basic understanding of who he is, but I kind of gave him, the benefit of the doubt, let him introduce himself to me.
How does that work with a guy like Stacy Searles? He's obviously been coaching for years. Does he come in and learn your terminology and your plays, or do you have to learn a new terminology and stuff?
It's a little bit of both. It's a compromise. At the end of the day, you have to make it work. Because we all want to win. So it is what it is.
It's not like a radical change, is it? Like going
Nah.
to some blocking scheme versus.
No, sir.
Okay.
We've heard a lot of the defensive guys say Zion Logue is a guy to watch. I mean, from a guy that's gone against him, what do we need to be on the lookout for from him?
And don't kill me for saying this, but I think Zion is a version of like a combination of like I guess I would say like JD and Devontae. Like he's in between both of them. He's fast. He's strong. He can catch you off guard with his quickness, but he's also very powerful in the run game. So I think he's a mixture of both.
How does that? I mean, you got any specific plays in practice? You're like, man, we expect this from Jordan and Devontae. Zion's out here doing this,
I mean, taking on a one-on-one block when he's in the shade, expecting to, try and move him because, all of those reps against JD, you can have some success and you're thinking, well, I'll probably be able to move him and give him some good competition. And, he's holding his own very well. Honestly, it's every day a struggle for me and a struggle for him, so we're getting each other better. So,
looking at where you are right now, as far as confidence compared to last year, with having a season of starting, just how much more confident do you feel like you are right now?
I wouldn't call it confidence, just because for me, confidence just comes off as arrogance to me. I would call it more just comfortable. I think I'm very comfortable in the system right now. I'm still pushing and learn and, taking notes on base things like inside zone and, just trying to get better. But honestly, I feel comfortable, way more comfortable just playing football at this point in my career.
What do you feel about this group? I mean, you need two starters to step up, losing two starters from last year. Just how hungry is this group to pick up where you guys left off last year?
I'll say this. We definitely want to honor the guys that came last year, but honestly, this is a new group, and we feel slighted because let me rephrase that. Not slighted. Slighted isn't the right word. We just want to use it as motivation that we didn't win the Joe Moore last year, so we want to be the best group possible.
Kind of made a statement to that effect in the Michigan game. That was a little bit of a incentive, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Yeah. Kenny Mack was in here earlier. The whole running back dynamic is pretty interesting. This is a guy who's played a lot, but he's really just now stepping into the limelight. What can you say about him and Kendall? They're finally getting their opportunity. And what have you seen in the weight room and on the field that let you know RVU's going to be okay?
So for me, it's the leadership of those guys. They're silent leaders. Those guys come in to work every day and they're productive. They were productive when they were playing in supportive roles. So I think now that they'll have the opportunity to, really take on the load and, be what James and Samir were to our team last year. I think that'll be great for them. I have a ton of confidence in them, but honestly, I think a good thing for our team is going to be Dejon Edwards coming in and helping out too. So I'm looking forward to seeing him play as well.
What are your expectations for A.D. Mitchell this season?
A.D. Mitchell? Be the same guy he was last year, but I mean, of course, I'm expecting a little bit more. But honestly, AD is a special talent, so I'm expecting him to go out there and dominate.
Speaking on Mims.
Mims, great talent, young guy. He has some game experience, so we're looking forward to seeing him take the next step. I think he's going to be fine, though. Honestly, just watching him how he practices. Watching how he practices and just honestly watching how he works. It's a thing of beauty. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he takes the next step because he is a generational talent in my opinion.
Is this offensive line going to be better than last year's?
I don't think that's fair for me to say that at this point right now. We just want to work and get better.
Kirby told us that the media, and we were really wrong to call you guys defending champions because you're not defending anything. So what is that mentality that he's trying to get across there when he says that?
It's a new season. Nothing's promised. There are new expectations for college football, and honestly, no one's going to give you anything. If I'm being 100% honest, when we were doing spring football, it kind of upset me that the national championship thing was still on the field. That honestly upset me. Kind of spoke out about it to a couple of coaches, but the mood around the team is that's over. It's been over for about a month and a half now. It's done. So,
How do you think Stetson, helping you guys to a national championship, what did that do to him in terms of coming back now and maybe less questions and more belief from everybody?
I think for him it didn't do much, honestly. We always believed in Stetson, and he always believed in himself. If anything, I think it may have given other people more confidence in him, but I think for Stetson himself, it did nothing for him but solidified what we already knew.
Cedric, you've come across as a pretty firm guy since we've started talking to you. He seems to be your personality. He seems like you're a leader. What exactly did you say to the coaches? I'm curious that when you said you didn't like it, did you just go up to a coach and say, hey, man, what's this doing out here?
It was nothing of that nature. You always want to be respectful to your elders. It was more in a joking manner, like, hey, man, that's been over for a while now. Why is that still there? But at the end of the day, we all know that it's over. So.
When did you personally decide, okay, it's time to stop celebrating? There's a new season on the line.
When I had to go to class Wednesday morning. And from that point, it was over. Once we got back to Athens, it was done.
What was the 6 weeks like? In terms of how hard they pushed and what those workouts were like for you guys.
Are you talking about spring workouts?
The pre-spring, the winter workouts. I
Gotcha.
you had that 6 week period.
Yeah, I apologize. It was strenuous to say the least. We did some new things that definitely pushed us to our max. But they were good, though. They brought out the competitive nature in everybody, and I think ultimately it's going to make us a stronger team. So I think they definitely worked out for us. I think that's a testimony to who Coach Sinclair and his staff are.
What's the difference in you, if you would say, a year ago at this time?
I think the biggest difference in myself would be my understanding. I think early last year it was more of I'm doing what I'm coached to do, and I think around mid-season last year the game started to slow down, and I started to understand why I was doing certain things. So I think the biggest thing for me this year is that I have a much greater in-depth understanding of what's going on and why we're doing certain things and safety rotations and things like that, so I'm able to help other guys out. So I think that would be the biggest thing.
Sedrick, you guys got several talented young offensive linemen. I want to ask you about Ernest Green. Just what have you seen from him so far?
I absolutely love EG. Really, really talented guy. Of course, we all came in talented, but just seeing some of the things that he's doing, he's a really talented guy. I'm excited to see how he develops over the course of the years.
From a day-to-day standpoint, the practices might be changing between Coach Luke and Coach Searles. What are your 2 practices into spring? What have you noticed might be different?
Before I address that, let me just say this. I appreciate everything Coach Luke has done for us, and I absolutely have tremendous love for Coach Luke and his family, so I appreciate them. But I think the biggest thing that would be a difference is that Coach Luke in practice was more of a motivator. He definitely wanted to coach and teach technique, but he also wanted to motivate. I think Coach Searles is more straight to the point, and that can be either good or bad depending on the player, honestly. But I think ultimately the biggest thing is just to take the message. What did you do wrong? How can you get better? What's the best thing for the team?
Okay, we're gonna have 2 more questions for Sedrick.
At least from the outside looking in, it seems like the guard spots are maybe the most unsettled. What's the competition been like beside you?
It's a good question. It's been interesting. So we're rolling a lot of guys in and out, to try and create the best possible lineups for the team. But it's been competitive. I think everyone's holding their own, and I think everyone's competing at the highest level. So I think it'll be an interesting spring.
Did you get to know Owen Condon very well? He just moved on.
Yeah, OC is my guy, man. It hurts to see him go, but at the same time, I wish him the best in life. Always going to be my brother. Always want to see him do well. So Owen's one of those guys, super smart, really talented on the football field. It sucks that things worked the way that they did for him here, but ultimately that's my guy, and it's always going to be my brother.
Okay, thanks,
Thanks,
y'all.
Sid.
Thanks, appreciate it.